Yo, what's going on tonight, y'all? This is the Battle Blaster coming at you tonight. Um, I tried to make a video earlier this afternoon, and I just got from work and I was tired. And I actually passed out making a video, but I'm better now. Feel much more energetic a little bit. So before I take my shower and go back to bed, I thought that I would come to you and talk to you about this subject that I'm going to bring to you tonight. In the service, they call something a field briefing. That means field briefing is something that, like, say, if you're going to go out to do battle, or you're going to do simulation battle. This is not simulation battle that I'm talking about tonight. Which they would call simulation engagement. This is not a simulation engagement. This is a real engagement. This is an engagement, a battle engagement. So we're talking about black people being killed by police and other groups in this country, and no justice is being served to us. Recently, there's been a whole bunch of killings of black men. There's been killings of us since white man has crawled his way or stepped foot up out of Europe. But because of the end of their rule is coming, it's actually here. We're actually seeing it in real time. These individuals are putting in that last bit of work that they feel that they must put in, and it's going to get worse. The Bible speaks of this, and it states in the Bible, and I should have pulled it. I didn't even think about pulling it out, but it's a part in there, and I'm only going to say it's going to be kind of harsh. It's going to be like not exactly what it says, but it's going to be similar to what it says. The way I'm going to say it. It says something like this: like towards the end of time, which means the end of their rule, that they will that the devil will be out trying to grab as many souls as he can and destroy as many souls as he can. And that's what he's doing right now. White man is out there destroying a lot of black people's lives. Not only just our lives, but other lives, but basically in this country and around the world, they're destroying our lives. They're taking black people's lives, period. Case in point, the girl, the basketball player chick, Brittany Griner, I guess that's her name. Sweetheart, you want to be a man so bad, you had your breasts taken off so you can look like a man, and you got married to another woman, which is a fallacy against the Most High God. And we've lived in their demented world for centuries, and we have picked up their demented. I'm trying to say it right, can't get it out of my mouth. Their demented habits. And now this young woman, who I remember her saying something like, black men don't come to their games, like to black women's basketball games. I mean, she had a lot of stuff to say about black men and how, you know, we don't support the WNBA and all that stuff. Okay, case in point. If y'all was playing hard, like, you know, I'm not a basketball freak. I'm not a sports freak, period. But I've heard brothers say, you know, some brothers watch it. But some brothers don't want to watch because y'all guys don't make it interesting. Like, y'all don't play to your hardest or to your fullest potential. Like guys, no offense, guys play, and it's like seeing warriors on the court. Don't get me wrong, you might got a handful of women who play like, you know, warriors on the court. The rest of them is like, they just there just to play. They there to get a check. You know what I mean? Them other dudes, they running around like, bitch, I gotta be on the team next year. I gotta play hard. I gotta play harder than what I play. And this woman said some really strange shit about black men. And it's so funny because it's not just only black men on YouTube, but black women. But there's black men on YouTube talking about getting this woman freed, getting her freed from her captivity over in Russia. Number one, sweetheart, and I'm not going to blame you, but I am going to put a little blame on you right now. You know you're going to another country, and if you was over there probably playing ball with them, whatever the case may be, or if you didn't go over there play ball with the people, you should have known. Seriously. And what I mean about you should have known is that if you was over there already, you should have known what you can bring in that country and what you could bring and what you can't bring in that country. You know what I mean? And if this was your first time there, it should have been somebody like your publicist or you know your handlers or whoever the hell it is that works with you. They should have known you couldn't bring vape pen cartridges with hashish oil in here. Now they trying to say it like you was bringing in tons of fucking cocaine and heroin and hash in there. You know what I mean? You had a couple cartridges, which that should have been a slap on the wrist. But being that America's at war, basically with Russia, they're not even at war, but they are at war with Russia. You know what I mean? They're helping out the Russia's brothers who they're trying to get to be back in the same fold as them. That's a family fight that I think America should have kept its fucking hands out of, but I think that's a part of the New World Order, is to bring these individuals in line. So now you're a casualty of war, and then the person that you and your wife voted for, Biden, this motherfucker, y'all cries are going on deaf ears. You know what I mean? Again, this is what we're talking about when it comes to men and women in this country. As black people, we should all have a collective voice. A collective voice, which we should have been said, we're not fucking with Biden. We knew his track record. And if you didn't know his track record, you should have paid attention to people on YouTube like the Black Authority, like Professor Black Truth, like Tariq, you know, like Lisa Cabrera and Queen Amadaya. You should have listened to those individuals who are constantly on the ball. They know his track record. I know his track record from what? I guess the 90s, the late 90s. And when I saw him again when he was Obama's boy, he looked familiar. I couldn't even place the face until later on it was told to me. That's the same dude that did that 90-something, the 97, whatever the fuck, crime bill. That 1995 or whatever, crime bill, whatever he made. This motherfucker was trying to push that shit for a minute. And he bribed people into setting that crime bill up, and that thing was designed to hurt black people. It really wasn't designed to hurt Spanish folks, but they got caught up in it, and I'm not going to sit up here and take nothing from them. Yeah, they got caught up in it, but it was designed for us because he said out of his mouth back in the 70s, he didn't want his kids going to school with black children. He thought that mixing of the races was the worst thing in the world, and us having their education would be a waste. Us having a white child's education would be a waste. See, they know what they're doing. They know when they give us education in our neighborhoods, they do a lot of cutting. They do a lot of pulling of the rug, from underneath your feet. They are the ones who intentionally give us books that's older, so we are 10 years or 5 years or 6 years behind in learning. You know what I mean? I mean, even when I was going to school, when I was a little boy, we should have been learning calculus or pre-calculus in a grade school, like around about like 5th grade. We should have been on top of it. I watch as these little white kids, they learn pre-calculus in grade school. So when they go into junior high school, they're still learning pre-calculus, but by the time they get into like 9th, 10th grade, they on advanced calculus. You know what I mean? So from between the end of junior high school into going into high school, they're in advanced calculus. We are behind. We don't even know. A lot of us don't even know calculus. We don't even learn calculus. They don't even teach us calculus. They might teach us a little bit of it, and that's in junior high school or in going into high school, but that's about it. That's about it. And that clown Joe Biden didn't want us to learn anything. He didn't want us to go to school with their children. He didn't want us to fucking really even have a school to learn anything. Him and that damn Justice Scalia, whatever his name is, the one that died, the one who's from Jersey, from my hometown, which he rest in hell and burn in hell for eternity. That piece of fucking Italian shit told, it was in a paper. I remember reading this paper before he passed away. He said how black people shouldn't go to college. It's a waste. We're a waste of space in college because we don't know science and we don't know technology. We don't know mathematics. Well, guess whose fault is that? And it's so wrong because this motherfucker, he just was talking out the side of his ass. See, he knew his time was coming, so he had to take his last few jabs at us. But guess what? Time got his ass and killed him, took him out of the game. You know what I mean? He died, and guess what? I hope that he burns in hell. I said it. Yes, I did. And I'm not taking it back. But getting back onto the subject. As black people, we have voted for this man. And I didn't vote. I swear to God, I did not vote this year at all. My last vote was, it was actually against Trump. When Trump was going into office. When he got picked to go into office. That term, I actually voted for somebody who was not a Republican nor a Democrat. I voted for a name on a ballot, but nobody else. And I said, you know what, at this, I'm not voting no more. And I seen the truth about it. I remember when Hillary Clinton supposedly won the presidency, but it was the electoral, what is it called, the college vote, the electoral college vote, the electoral college vote that ruled over the popular vote, and it said, hey, we're gonna pick Trump over her. Now, did I vote for Hillary Clinton during that time? No. That motherfucker is she said Margaret Sanger is her hero. This motherfucker, her and her foundation, her husband foundation, is designed to kill black people and take black people out. And people might sit up and say, you're lying. No. Look deep into their shit. These motherfuckers got a lot of fucking bullshit to deal with. They got a lot of hatred for us. This is the name of the game when it comes to black people in this country. No matter what side you on, no matter what table you sit on across from each other, you know, either Democrat or Republican, the main issue for both of them is never to do anything for black people. Never do anything for us. Never. When it seems like we're making headway, destroy them son of a bitches. You know what I mean? That's what they don't, that's their rule. And they don't want to change it. And this is the thing I could never understand is, as black people, why haven't we ever really just said, fuck it? You know, liberty or death. Real freedom or death. See, back in the 60s, we could have, you know, bit the head off the snake. You know what I mean? We really could have. We could have cut the head off the snake then. We could have really wounded the snake. Well, we cut it a little bit, but we didn't wound it. That motherfucker went and got better, and he came back stronger than ever. But we have never, and I don't understand, when we get a little bit of something, we go back and relax and laugh and want to play and joke and kiki and kaka and have a good time. Man, when you're at war, you can never have a good time. You are always on alert. You don't know when the next attack is coming. That's why you always stay vigilant when you are in a war. You always have your ears perked up, as they say. You always got your head on a swivel. You always got your eyes on your six. Because you don't know when the hell it's coming and where it's coming from. I watched lately this young brother got shot and killed, and they threw a fucking gun in his car. They trying to set him up. And these cops gonna walk. They're gonna walk. And if they don't walk, they'll probably get 1 or 2 or 3 cops, and they'll let the other ones go. They'll get them cops little smacks on the wrist. They'll do a year or 2 or 3 years in jail, and they'll be out. They'll sit up in club fed somewhere. They won't put them in general population with the real prisoners who will get up in their ass and take them out. See, that's our job. That's the people out on the street. That's what our job should be required. Intel. That's all I'm going to say. Intel. We should be putting in mad fucking work, but we don't. And do you know why we don't put in mad work? Because they lullabied us to sleep a long time ago. Back in the 80s, actually the 70s, they was lullabying us back to sleep. Remember, they were afraid of the Black Panthers. They did everything they could to destroy the Black Panthers, and they did it. Because again, we were letting people in who didn't belong in. We had people that we was letting in that were double agents who looked like us, but they weren't us. We letting other people in who from different races, and we should have been like, nah, man, you good, you good, we good, we don't need your help. But back then we was looking at, you know, other people who people has been through similar situations like us, but they've never been through what we went through. The Japanese individuals, oh yeah, y'all went through what do they call that? Y'all went through a roundup. Y'all went through a what do they call that? Internment camp roundup during World War II. They showed y'all motherfuckers they don't trust you. But the funny part about it, and I remember watching this, and I talked about this before. I remember watching this thing on Channel 12. Was it Channel 12? I think it was. It was a documentary about the internment camps of, the American internment camps for the Japanese. And Pat Morita was on there. George Takei from Star Trek, Mr. Sulu, he was on there. The one, oh my, he was on there. There was a couple of other people, a couple authors and stuff, Japanese authors who wrote about it. And they said, and I remember Pat Morita, and he said the same thing that George Takei said. They were like, the young kids was like, the younger ones who were like, they were in their teenage years or whatever. They was like, shouldn't we just join the black people and fight with them? The elders said, no, you let them fight that. We'll stick to the books and we'll learn and we'll get good and we'll take over this shit. In other words, saying, let the black people do all the heavy lifting while we go to school and learn, and we'll integrate inside of their work culture, and we'll take over that way. But nothing stating we'll work with the black people, but this is what we're going to do. None of that. They said they already had their plans. They said, let the black people take all the slings and arrows while we go to school and learn. As black people, we should have did that shit. But see, again, there's only so far that we are allowed to go. Like, they have three brothers, three living elders from Tulsa. And they still won't give these people what they deserve. These people should, anybody who are the families and relatives of them individuals, they should get money. They should get parts of the town back that's theirs, and the government should help them rebuild it. But being that it's black people, no, we were never meant to have the freedoms, the liberty, the luxury, the carefreeness of white America. We were never meant to have that. But everybody else who is underneath the banner of white can have it. You can bring some damn Mexicans in here. No offense to the Mexicans. No offense to the Spanish population. But I'm keeping it real. You can get the Spanish population come here from a country that never had nothing. You give them all the luxuries and the amenities of the world so they can start businesses and start putting into the American fuel system of the economy. All right, why? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because they know that these individuals, these white bastards, know they're dying off. They're talking about they're going to be a minority by 2045 or 2050. Bitch, you already a minority. Why is y'all going? And I want black people, please listen. Please listen. And if I got some white folks in here listening too, I want y'all to understand, I'm not no racist. I'm a realist. And if you are a realist too, just listen. And then I want you to research what I say. Don't take my fucking word, but just go and look it up and you'll find out it's true. All right, check this out. Damn, man, I think I forgot. Back in what? The 60s? Let's go a little further than that. We're gonna go back to, damn, I don't even know. Damn, I just fucking forgot what I was saying. If I remember, trust me, I'm gonna jump right back on you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I forgot. Lately, I've been forgetting a lot of shit, and this is so aggravating. Forget what you're talking about. But I think we're talking about us having chances at a real life and having real freedom and the luxury of the freedoms. Now, black people back in, let's say, the 1900s, we were doing good, and the only reason why we were doing good was because we couldn't shop white people. We couldn't go to white stores and really shop. And if we did go to white stores, they were in our neighborhoods. I remember as a kid seeing how, as a kid, I would give like the Korean people money, and how they would take the change and they would slam it on the ground, on the counter, and they'll slide it to me. This is some shit that they learned that shit from white people. Like, they don't want to touch us, but you want our money. I remember one day as a kid, I went to the store, and it was a place called Young's downtown, and I used to always give Mr. Young my money, like hand it to him, like, you know, that's what you were told to do, to hand it to him. He would get change and slam it and slide it. He wouldn't even slide over, he'd slam it on the ground and move his hand real quick. So one day, I went in there and I seen some pants I wanted, some martial arts pants I wanted. So I went in there, I slammed the money on the ground at $20 on the table. And I looked him dead in his fucking eyes. That man looked at me and I looked at him, and you know what? He I wouldn't say he rolled his eyes, but he kind of like shied away, like, oh my God, he like, you gonna kill me, you know what I mean? And I remember I came back in there, I bought something else because I wanted it. And I don't know why I was spending my money with this fucking racist old Korean man, you know what I mean? And one day he asked me, why you always slam your money on the ground? I said, because when I hand you my money, I said, you slam my change down on the ground, you move your hand. You never hand it back to me like I hand you my money. Well, we don't do that in Korea. I said, well, this is not Korea. This is the United States of America. When a person hands you money, you're supposed to hand it back to them. So, again, going in this store, being stupid, giving this clown my money. You know what I mean? I give him the money by hand, and I put my hand out. He sees me with my hand out, and he goes to slam it on the table, and I move my hand underneath his hand, and he said, well, why you do that? I said, because you're supposed to put it in my hand. That was the last time I've been in that store, and that man went out of business probably about like 3 years later. These people come to this country and they disrespect black people. A lot of these people ain't, and back in the 70s, the early 70s, mid 70s, a lot of Koreans, especially, well, I say like the 60s, a lot of them started coming to the United States. And guess what? The United States was doing the same thing they doing to the Spanish people, giving them money to come into this country, to start businesses. I remember the boss I worked for, him and his wife, they had like an indoor market. We used to have this thing called a Trenton Indoor Market back in the day. And it was like it was a flea market, like, you know what I mean? So you go inside, there's like different vendors and stuff in there, you walk around. It was pretty cool, you know. I'll never forget it. And I remember going into their place because they used to have like different toys and shit like that. Like, I was big into Voltron back in those days, you know. So they had Go Lion. and to see if I knew better. If I knew more about, the collecting of toys and all that, I would have kept the Gold Lions in the boxes that they came in, because Gold Lion is the original name for the Voltron toys, and that Pacific box and everything, Gold Lion, is now very, very sought after to have. So basically, that's neither here nor there, but just a little piece of history. And I remember going in there buying Gold Lion for him and his wife. And I remember the kids was little babies at the time. And I remember seeing their face. And I remember when I started working for him, I said, I asked him, I said, Mr. Lee, when I was working for him, I said, did you used to have a place in the Trenton Indoor Market? And Miss Lee said, yeah, I had a place in the Indoor Market years ago. Yeah, before I got my store down here. He said, I got the store here first, and then we got the store across the street. And I remember him and his wife, because I used to come here all the time. I was younger. I said I was about 11, 12 years old, and I said I used to go and get the Gold Lions, the Voltrons from you. And he said, that's where you look familiar from, and we kind of laughed over that. But the point is, back in the 70s, like I said, 60s and 70s, they gave them money to come over here. All these Asians had got money to come here to America. They funneled them in because they said to themselves, that there's too many blacks. They claim we are 11% of the population, and we are more than that. I know we are. Because every 5 minutes they trying to smuggle in more people to shift us to the underclass, to keep us dead buried. And this is the problem where I'm going to tell black people. This is what I was talking about. They have screwed our minds up ever since the 70s. And what I mean about that is, they started showing us celebrityism. It really didn't pop off until really rap showed up. And rap wasn't even their design to do it with. But guess what? Rap helped cement that lifestyle for us. And what I mean about that lifestyle was, rap was something new. A lot of the young kids they were coming up. They were seeing these brothers being hardcore, and they were being like this. How can I put it to you? These brothers being like real hardcore. They're being like really, they were being very manly. You know what I mean? Run DMC, when they first came out, they got the walk, they got the all black on, the leather, the leather jackets, the Godfather hats, the black jeans, and sometimes they had the black leather pants on with the, you know what I mean, with the white Adidas with the black stripe. So you know what I mean. So that was cold-blooded to us. So we seen that, we wanted to emulate that. See, now this is where I say fathers are good in the home. Because a lot of them young boys, man, a lot of young brothers I went to school with, a lot of them didn't have their fathers in their house. Don't get me wrong, some of them had their fathers come through here and there, or come through every week or whatever. Some even had the mother and father in the house. But a lot of them cats, a lot of the young brothers, they wanted to be like Run DMC because they didn't have males in their homes. If their uncles came through, that was it. But they never had males in their homes. I said some. I'm not saying all. I said some. I couldn't dress like Run DMC. Plus, I wasn't big into rap. I was around when rap came out. You know what I mean? I was there when rap hit the scenes. And again, let's get this correct. Jamaicans didn't create rap. Matter of fact, I wish I had. I would love to show y'all. Look up the name Scatman Carruthers. Look up Scatman Carruthers and look up Scatman Carruthers scatting. If you ever seen Popeye, when Popeye is walking down the street, he goes skip that, get that the bowl, skip that, be that the bowl, skip it that, be that the bowl. When you hear him say that, that's scatting. That's scatting. Do you understand? Scatting was also a form of rap prior to rap. Cause then, remember Scatman Carruthers, they was rapping back then. It was rhyming. And again, one more time, I'm just gonna say this one more time. My father and them used to tell, my father was born back in 1923. My father, when I was a kid, they used to talk about how they used to come up to women and they would rap. They would rap to them. Like I told you, they come up to a woman, hey, pretty bum, won't you give me some time? Give me 5 minutes and I'll blow your mind. You know what I mean? This is back in the 40s and the 50s. Again, rock and roll was a word that was a word that meant, do you want to have sex? Rock and roll meant, hey, you with your woman. Hey, baby, let's go somewhere and rock and roll. That means let's go and have sex. That's where this shit comes, sex and drugs and rock and roll. This is where white people get that shit from. Because rock and roll's supposed to body all that, the sex, the drugs. I don't understand where the drugs come from, but okay. There's a song called Sex and Drugs, Rock and Roll. There's actually a song called that. But like I said, that's neither here nor there, but I just want to give you a quick history piece on that. So, scatting and rapping, we was doing that shit, and then turn around, you had people like Pigmeat Markham who was on Laughing. And if anybody knows what Laughing is an old television variety show, comedy sketch show. And back in 1969, there was a car called the Pontiac Judge, the GTO, the GOAT. They call it the Judge, and he was on there. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. It was a skit that he would do, and he would rap. If you want to listen to this rap, just go on to YouTube and look up Pigmeat Markham. Here comes the judge. Or look up Laughing. Here come the judge. You'll see Sammy Davis Jr. doing it too. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Knock on wood, cause here come the judge. You know what I mean? So they would rap. Don't nobody come on and messing with me. I'm the judge, baby. Can't you see? There's a book I got on my table. I talked about this before. My best friend bought me this book, even though I paid him. I think I paid him whatever it cost. But I remember telling him about this book because I saw it online. It's called A History of Hip Hop. And Puff Daddy put this big ass book together, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful table book. But it's a coffee table book. But it's worthy because of what it is and the history behind it, and it talks about it. So please stop trying to give hip hop to the Jamaicans. Give them the credit. Please stop trying to give breakdancing to the credit of the Asians, because the Asians wasn't doing breakdancing. They wasn't doing pop locking. Stop giving away or trying to give our shit away to other cultures. See, they trying to erase us. See, we are marked for extermination, and they are trying to erase us away from our history. They already lied and said that Elvis is the creator and people like him are the creator of rock and roll, which that's not even fucking true. Rock and roll is a form of R&B, which they called rhythm and blues. It's the way you play it. Chuck Berry is the grandfather of what you would call modern day rock and roll, or rock and roll. Not modern day, but rock and roll, period. The godmother, Thornton, Mama Thornton, if I got her name right, she's the godmother of rock and roll. Jimi Hendrix is the grandfather of rock and roll. You got people like, what's his face? What's his name? What's my man name? And he got some good shit. He funny as hell, but I like his music. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is jumping on the funk train now, because funk is making a comeback due to him. Funk ain't never really left, because we had people like Prince who was still out there at the time. Now you got Morris Day still out there. He's still running the funk train. The R&B funk train. You dig? But Bruno is putting his thing down. And like I said, I ain't got no problems with Bruno. Bruno's funky. I'll give it to him. But we need to still hold on to our genres, and we need to stop just thinking that rap is the only genre for us. I watched, as a friend showed me this thing, these two rappers. I wish I had my phone with me because I would look at it. I forgot who the two rappers were, but they spoke. I think they were both dating the Kardashians. Tiger was one of them. But they dressed as the Kardashians. They actually dressed as females. And they're rapping and shit or whatever. These motherfuckers, come on, what the fuck? You can't be manly no more? That's the problem. We can't be manly anymore. Black men, we're not allowed to be manly. Because they know, and this goes back to the programming. They know. See, back in, like I said, the 80s, everybody wanted to be Run DMC. This is really when all this, because television was at its height. Television was really popping back then. And there was no reality TV shows back in the 80s. It was just straight TV programming. So when you saw Run DMC on BET back in the day, on what was it, Video Music Box and Video Soul, I remember when MTV came on, they said they wasn't going to play no black music, but because of Prince and Michael Jackson, they had to open up the doors to that, because rap now started making a lot of noise. And I remember the first time I saw Run DMC on MTV. I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs would call me sire. You know what I mean? And then you heard walk his way, and then you had what's the other one? That was Rock Boxing when I was talking, the one I just did. And it was another one. It was 3 different Run DMC joints, and this is like 84. When they started playing Run DMC, because they started pushing out Michael Jackson and Prince. Right around like 84, 85. 83, I remember it was 83, 82, 83 is when Michael Jackson and Prince was coming out. Because remember, 1980, MTV showed up. I remember VH1 said that they didn't want to play no black music. They said they weren't going to play R&B. They wasn't going to play no rap music. They wasn't going to play no black. They said, period, they weren't playing black music. And guess what? They got a soul of VH1 and VH1 rap. What the fuck? But see, this is the reasons why these people are playing it also, because now the people who created it have no real control over it no more. And the people who got control and making all the money from it is white. We're going to allow you to play it. Plus, there's a lot of propaganda in rap. We got to make the men soft. We got to make the women hard. We got to make the men gay. We got to make the women gay. We got to make this. We got to do this. We're going to destroy you with your own fucking music. And we buy into it. Remember, they've been at war ever since they've been at war with us ever since they stepped foot out of Europe. They've been at war with us. And we haven't been at war with them since. These people can walk up to us, shoot us, kill us. They can have a police force do whatever the hell they want to do to us. And you know what we do? Absolutely nothing. We will not take up arms. We will not fight back. Now, some of us have. And we have lost our lives. Let me tell you something. The penalty of, what they say, the price of freedom is death. That's a true statement. The price of freedom is death. Patrick Henry, I hate to say it because he was a big ass racist. That son of a bitch said, what did he say? There's a song. When Patrick Henry was in Virginia, he made a speech that everyone heard. Oh my God, it's an old song that you would sing to remember it. But he was saying something about united we stand, divided we fall. Oh my God, I can't even forget I used to know that thing when I was a little kid, man, because it's a part, like you sing a part of history, and we used to sing that portion of history just to remember. But there's another part where he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." That was a part of that speech too. But he was very adamant about keeping slaves. And he was like, if we free these people, then we will have to pay the price. You know, in other words, he was trying to scare people into believing black people was going to come after white people. So he's like, give us liberty or give us death. You know what I mean? We want the right to have slaves. That's what he was talking about. But the point is, he was willing to fight and die to keep slavery going. We are the only group of people who will not. We will march. We'll. And the funny thing is, I'll talk about that in a second. But we're the only people who we will march and cry, and we won't turn up really and fight. Some of us will in certain areas, like in California. I see a lot, like when that shit went down with who was that? I remember the black sister who died. When the Korean woman shot that little girl in the back of her fucking head, blew her brains out. They turned up then. When Rodney King, I remember that was all over the news. That was all over the television. They turned up there. I mean, we don't turn up like, nobody turns up like California turns up. California will burn down the city and tell these motherfuckers, and honestly, they don't need to burn down the city. They need to go into them suburbs, burn them places down. They need to find out the people who got something to do with it and burn them motherfuckers out of their house. Or burn them up while they in their house. You know, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm not condoning violence. But hell, I said what I said. Shit, it's called recon. Find your enemy and take the fight to him or her. Who knows? Who knows? But that's something we don't do. A lot of us, we sit there, cry and whine, but we don't do shit. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you something else too. We are fear. We as black people, a lot of us got softer. And I mean, this generation we growing up in, a lot of these cats are shooting each other. A lot of these cats are beating up girls or fighting girls because we running right there along with another group of motherfuckers, and we beating on each other. We don't take the fight to these people because we so busy wanting to turn up. We so busy wanting to live and party and lollygag. Dude, we don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury to fight against male and female. I see a lot of that shit going on. I talk about it sometimes on my channel. You know what I mean? About about men and women. But again, we don't have that luxury to be fighting one another. We don't have the luxury to be worried about sexuality or worrying about the woman who wants a high value man bullshit. You know, we don't have that fucking luxury. We don't have it. These people are killing us. And guess what we're doing? We're sitting here fighting amongst each other, talking about, well, the black woman, she God. Well, no, the black woman, she the most disrespected in the whole world. Well, the black man is he should be worshipped like a king. The black man, he's always downtrodden on. Yeah, we already know all this bullshit. Let's all right. Fuck all that. Understand we're stronger together if you pick the proper mate. Again, I always say this. Pick the proper mate. Ladies, stop giving your bodies and your wombs to these brothers who just want to fucking have babies and leave you with all these children. This way you do. When you get old, when things go on, oh, well, I got all these babies and I didn't know he was like that. Yes, you did, because he had 10 kids before you fucked them. And all you brothers out here just fucking women to have babies, you need your dicks cut off. I'm going to say it straight up, because you're nothing but a cancer if you're not going to be a man and take care of your responsibility. Now, there are some brothers out here who are making babies, and they do take care of their responsibilities. Some, not all. But you don't need to be worried about working with your dick all the time. It's time to stand up and fight, y'all, because we will have to take it. I'm tired of being on the fucking defensive. It's time for us to get on the offensive with these people, and we need to start making some moves and making these people hurt. But instead, we scared because they got us scared. We weak. We're a weak group of people now. I'll tell you something. There is a movie called Star Trek Insurrection. And the funny thing about the movie is they go to this planet, right? And this planet, it has this ring around it. And there's something about the ring that keeps the people, once they get like 40 years old, they stop, their aging slows down completely. It's like they don't age. Once they hit their 40s, they just stop aging. Their health is great. They feel more vibrant, but the aging process slows down completely. It's like almost at a creep of a standstill. And it's a group of other individuals who don't even look like they're humanoids. They're walking around getting their skin pulled back and getting their like they staple their skin. After they pull their skin back, they staple their skin onto their heads, and they put this thing. I mean, it's crazy, but anyway. The whole premise of the movie is that those individuals who are the offlanders, they want the human people, the humanoids, off of the one planet, off that planet, so they can go back onto that planet. See, because that would give them time to rejuvenate. See, but this is what happened was, they were the same group of people. They were the same group of people. They just felt like if we couldn't go off world and see what life was like at another world, instead of, just sticking on this planet, then we don't want to be here. But they grown old. And they had even though they grown old, they how you say it? They grew old, but they couldn't oh my God, what I'm trying to say. They wanted to come back so they can rejuvenate themselves, but they wanted to plan to themselves. And they was like working with Starfleet, like, look, tell them they gotta get up off this planet. Now, this is the funny part. They the same people. And they want their kinfolk off that planet so they can rule that planet. Because they wanted to be able to go off and on world. And the people who are a part of that planet, who was still young looking, they had this decree: if you step foot off world, you don't come back. Because they didn't want people to have that zest to say, hey, listen, I went out there in space, I seen other worlds, I enjoyed it, and I'm bringing back different cultures here to assimilate with us. They didn't want that. They just wanted to be left alone, which is fine. This is what we dealing with these white folks. I hate to say it. They said Noah was an albino in the Bible, right? Albinism, surprisingly, or let's just play this. Suppose it comes from us. And these people are us. Let's just say they are us. But they lost a lot of that soul and love that comes from us. So they're trying to erase us off the face of the earth, like in that movie. That would be a weird thing to think about. But that's all I wanted to say on that. But my main thing, what I'm trying to tell you tonight is, wake up, black people, because we don't have the time. We really don't have the time no more. Either we're gonna stand up, either we're gonna stand up and fight back, take the fight to them, or we're just gonna continue doing what we're doing. And 9 times out of 10, we're gonna continue to keep doing what we're doing, because until it hits your family, you ain't gonna give a shit. And I don't want it to hit my family. And if it does, then I got some work that I need to do. Alright, y'all, this is the Battle Blaster. I'm signing out with a few seconds to go. Almost made an hour out of this son of a bitch, alright? So, again, think about what I said, people, because We are always on the defensive. It's time for us to be on the offensive and start firing back. This is the Battle Blaster. Say peace.